the introduction in 2003 of the Dodge Neon SRT-4, it's accumulated quite a large following, and for good reason. The car came armed with a 2.4-liter turbo rated at 240 brake horsepower, and on a 2,900 pound chassis, that meant for pretty good acceleration numbers. However, like most of my recent reviews, this SRT has had its stock turbo replaced with a bigger one, and now pushes 420 horsepower to the front wheels. What's up guys, Kilo36 here. We are in a 2005 Dodge Neon SRT4 and initial impressions are good guys. This is an older car, so I'm not going to be too critical on the interior, especially since you got to remember that Dodge kind of created this car back then to be a budget, sports car, someone that didn't want to spend a whole lot of money but wanted pretty good performance. So but the dash here, the center console is pretty basic. You got your AC controls, temperature. Looks like it has an aftermarket CD player here. I'm really digging the shifter here. It's a 5-speed manual. Just has a really nice look to it, and the shift boot here is pretty nice as well. The seats here are really nice. They're a factory option. They came with the ACR, I guess like the premium trim for the SRT4, and I gotta say they're super comfortable. You can tell that they kind of made them for maybe a little bit bigger of a person. The hip support here is kind of a little bit wide, but definitely a lot of support there for when you start taking turns and whatnot. But other than that though guys, the visibility is pretty good, I gotta say. Windows are nice and big, but steering wheel is okay. Not too sporty, but has a nice shape. It has a nice shape and size to it. I like how it feels in the hands. And the tach here and the speedometer look pretty cool. I gotta say, it has a really nice font to it. And just overall look, you got the SRT4 badge on there as well. And he has what looks like, I think this is aftermarket, but I'm not certain, a boost gauge, and then it's an AEM air fuel ratio gauge right there. So I think that's aftermarket. But other than that guys though, the interior is nothing extravagant, but you gotta remember the Neon was never created as like a luxury car, nothing like that. Yeah, this Neon is pushing 420 horsepower to the wheels, big turbo, it's front wheel drive. So it should make for a pretty interesting driving experience. It's a 5-speed manual, so the gears should be a little bit wider than they would be in a 6-speed. Yeah, if you guys are interested, I will have a complete mod list in the video description. If you guys want to see exactly what's done, like the turbo model that he has on here and suspension mods and whatnot. But anyways guys, let's take her for a spin and see how she is. All right, so initial impressions are the owner informed me that the clutch is pretty stiff, as well as the gearbox, and it is. The clutch is pretty hard to press down, but I gotta say I like the overall feel of it. You can tell it's a kind of aggressive clutch here, and this gearbox is it's really hard to move around the gears with. So yeah, so the gearbox is super stiff, and this clutch is really aggressive too. Okay, so the car rides pretty nicely though. Even with the suspension modifications he has on here, it's fairly smooth. Woo! Well, yeah, oh yeah, that clutch is. Yeah, the clutch is very stiff, very hard to push in. It's almost like a leg press, The gearbox, even though it's really stiff, it's very precise, and that's something you want in a gearbox. You want the shifter to be precise. You don't want to be wondering what gear you're in. So that's really nice. The suspension is soaking up these bumps pretty good. It is a little bumpier than most of the cars that I've done before, but nothing too terrible. When you're just cruising, the exhaust isn't that loud. I mean, you definitely still hear it, but it's not like overbearing or nothing like that. Whew, this thing is so tight. It's like super short shifter in here. Clutch is a little hard to get used to. Oh. Power is not that bad. I don't even think I've gotten into boost yet, but just driving around town here, it seems power seems adequate below boosting levels. Brakes are okay. They're not. They don't feel extremely strong. Oh, jumped a little bit there. Yeah, this clutch is definitely hard to get used to, but you can tell it does mean business. Yeah, brakes don't feel especially strong. You kind of have to push it in pretty far down to get some good stopping power out of them. Yeah, brakes don't feel particularly strong, but she corners pretty nicely, I gotta say. Gonna do a little boost in third gear here. 3,000 RPMs. Turbo lag. Oh, okay. So definitely noticeable turbo lag. You get all your boost right at around 4,000, maybe 4.5. I didn't really see particularly there, but that was third gear. So you got to remember the gears are kind of long in the 5-speed. But once she hit boost though, yeah, the boost came on really strong. This car is fast. So when you're going around these corners, I noticed though, you don't really want to get into boost too much, but just taking the corners, right around 3,000 RPM seems to be pretty nice. You're still moving along pretty nicely, and things are going pretty good. The car handles really good. Cornering is pretty flat. The suspension setup that he has on here is really nice. I just wish the brakes felt a little stronger. That seems to be like kind of the weak point right now. I'm gonna do a little second gear pull here. Whoa! Oh, okay, yeah. She second gear is pretty good. You do notice still the turbo lag. Turbo lag is definitely a characteristic of this car. You kind of have to plan for it, especially when if you want to be going around these corners pretty quickly. It doesn't help that the 5-speed has such these wide gears, so you just kind of have to. This is a really involved car when you're driving it, especially if you're going to be driving around corners and whatnot. But man, she's fast. Once the boost hits, it's pretty violent. I'm not gonna lie, it feels very quick, and torque steer is definitely there. You kind of have to just have a tight grip on the wheel when you're driving this thing, especially once you start getting into boost. I gotta say, guys, this car handles pretty good. As long as you're careful not to boost too much on the turns, you can still whip it around the corner pretty nicely. Yeah, brake feel is okay. You do have to push in the pedal a lot, so that's one thing you got to keep in mind. One more time here, second gear. There we go. Woo! Woo! Yeah, I can definitely smell. Definitely get all those nice smells of having a catless exhaust. I love it. Some people might not, like that smell, because I think after a while of driving a car with a catless exhaust, you kind of start to smell all that stuff on your clothes and stuff. But personally, I like it. But overall, though, my impressions of this car are really good. This is the first SRT4 that I've ever driven, and I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with it. Rides pretty smooth. I think with stock suspension, it would probably be a lot more enjoyable, or not enjoyable, but a lot more comfortable. Okay, guys, we're gonna do another second gear pull here. All right, 2,500 RPM, second gear. Turbo lag, there it goes. Well guys, that's it for today's review. I hope you enjoyed it. This SRT4 was fast and very enjoyable to drive, although the clutch and shifter did take some time to get used to. As always guys, stay cool and keep loving your cars.